Hello students, have you ever cut the stem of a young plant and noticed water droplets oozing out from the cut end? That's not just water leaking out, it's a fascinating process called root pressure at work. Root pressure is the force generated inside roots that helps push water upwards into the stem. It is one of nature's clever strategies to ensure that plants always receive their life-giving supply of water. So, how is root pressure created? Water enters the root hairs from the soil by osmosis because the cell sap in roots is more concentrated than the surrounding soil water. Once inside, the water moves from cell to cell across the cortex. Each turgid cell presses against the next, and this hydrostatic pressure gradually builds up. When the water finally enters the xylem vessels, this internal force pushes it upward. As you can see in this cross-sectional diagram of a root, the arrows show the continuous journey of water from root hairs into the xylem. Isn't it amazing how microscopic water molecules can create such pressure? Now, how do we know root pressure really exists? Scientists demonstrated it using a simple experiment. If a cut stem of a plant is attached to a pressure gauge or a manometer, water rises in the tube due to hydrostatic pressure inside the roots. In plants like banana, grass, or tomato, root pressure can be so strong that it pushes water all the way to the leaf tips. This explains why cut stems of freshly watered plants sometimes ooze water droplets at their cut ends. Nature always provides us with visible proofs of its hidden processes. One of the most fascinating results of root pressure is guttation. In certain plants like grasses, tomatoes, and bananas, root pressure is so high that water is forced out through special leaf pores called hydatodes. These appear as tiny drops along the leaf margins, especially in the early morning. This is guttation, and it's very different from dew. Dew forms from condensation of atmospheric moisture, but guttation originates from inside the plant, pushed out by root pressure itself. Next time you see shiny droplets at the tips of grass leaves in the morning, you'll know the plant was working overnight. Why is root pressure important? First, it helps small plants and herbs lift water into their stems and leaves. Second, it maintains a steady supply of water during the night when transpiration is minimal. Third, it assists in keeping cells turgid, which is vital for maintaining plant stiffness. And finally, it drives guttation, an outward sign of internal pressure. However, we should also note that root pressure is only part of the story. On its own, it cannot lift water to the towering heights of trees. Root pressure, while fascinating, has its limitations. It is not strong enough to push water to the top of tall trees. That role is mainly handled by transpiration pull. Root pressure is most evident in small plants and is seasonal, often stronger in spring or during moist conditions. So, while it plays a supporting role, it cannot explain the bulk of water transport in large woody plants. Biology often shows us that multiple mechanisms work together to achieve a goal. So, let's recap. Root pressure is generated by osmotic entry of water into roots, creating hydrostatic pressure that pushes water upward through the xylem. It is evident in experiments, visible in guttation, and important for herbs and smaller plants. But it is not the main driving force for tall trees. Isn't it fascinating how plants combine strategies like root pressure and transpiration pull to stay alive and thrive? Remember, every droplet of water moving inside a plant tells a story of silent teamwork among roots, stems, and leaves. Biology truly reveals the marvel of life in action. Until next time, keep observing the hidden wonders around you.